Chapter 6. Christian opens the passenger side door of the black Audi SUV and I clamber in. It's a beast of a car. He hasn't mentioned the outburst of passion that exploded in the elevator. Should I? Should we talk about it or pretend that it didn't happen? It hardly seems real. My first proper no-holds-barred kiss. As time ticks on, I assign it mythical. It never existed. Perhaps I imagined it all. No, I touched my lips, swollen from his kiss. It definitely happened. I am a changed woman. I want this man desperately, and he wanted me. I glance at him. Christian is his usual polite, slightly distant self. How confusing. He starts the engine and reverses out of his space in the parking lot. He switches on the sound system. The car interior is filled with the sweetest, most magical music of two women singing. Oh wow, all my senses are in a disarray. So this is doubly affecting. It sends delicious shivers up my spine. Christian pulls out into Southwest Park Avenue and he drives with ease, lazy confidence. What are we listening to? It's the Flower Duet by Delibes from the opera La Comédie. Do you like it? Christian, it's wonderful. It is, isn't it? He grins, glancing at me. And for a fleeting moment he seems his age, young, carefree, and heart-stoppingly beautiful. Is this the key to him? Music. I sit and listen to the angelic voices teasing and seducing me. Can I hear that again? Of course. Christian pushes a button and the music is caressing me once more. It's a gentle, slow, sweet and sure assault on all my senses. You like classical music? I ask, hoping for a rare insight into his personal preferences. My taste is eclectic, Anastasia. Everything from Thomas Tallis to the Kings of Leon. It depends on my mood. And yours? Me too, though I don't know who Thomas Tallis is. He turns and gazes at me briefly before his eyes are back on the road. I'll play it for you sometime. He's a 16th century British composer. Tudor, church, choral music. Christian grins at me. Sounds very esoteric. I know, but it's also magical. He presses a button and the Kings of Leon start singing. This one I know. Sex on Fire. How appropriate. The music is interrupted by the sound of a cell phone ringing over the sound system. Christian hits the button on the steering wheel. Gray, he snaps. He's so brusque. Mr. Gray. It's Welsh here. I have the information you require. A rasping, disembodied voice comes over the speakers. Good. Email it to me. Anything to add? No, sir. He presses the button, then the call ceases, and the music is back. No goodbye or thanks. I'm so glad I never seriously entertained the thought of working for him. I shudder at the very idea. He's just too controlling and cold with his employees. The music cuts off again for the phone. Gray. The NDA has been emailed to you, Mr. Gray, a woman's voice. Good. That's all, Andrea. Good day, sir. Christian hangs up by pressing a button on the steering wheel. The music is on very briefly when the phone rings again. Holy hell, is this his life? Constant nagging phone calls. Gray, he snaps. Hi, Christian. Did you get laid? Hello, Elliot. I'm on speakerphone and I'm not alone in the car. Christian sighs. Who's with you? Christian rolls his eyes. Anastasia still. Hi, Hannah. Hannah. Hello, Elliot. Heard a lot about you, Elliot murmurs huskily. Christian frowns. Don't believe a word Kate says. Elliot laughs. I'm dropping Anastasia off now. Christian emphasises my full name. Shall I pick you up? Sure. See you shortly. Christian hangs up and the music is back. Why do you insist on calling me Anastasia? Because it's your name. I prefer Anna. Do you now? We are almost at my apartment. It's not taken long. Anastasia, he muses. I scowl at him, but he ignores my expression. What happened in the elevator? It won't happen again. Well, not unless it's premeditated. He pulls up outside my duplex. I belatedly realise that he's not asked where I live, yet he knows. But then he sent the books. Of course he knows where I live. What able cell phone tracking helicopter owning stalker wouldn't? Why won't he kiss me again? I pout at the thought. I don't understand, honestly. His surname should be cryptic, not grey. He climbs out of the car, walking with ease, long-legged grace around to my side to open the door, ever the gentleman, except perhaps in rare precious moments in elevators. I flush at the memory of his mouth on mine, and the thought that I'd been unable to touch him enters my mind. I wanted to run my fingers through his decadent, untidy hair, but I'd been unable to move my hands. I am retrospectively frustrated. I liked what happened in the elevator, I murmur as I climbed out the car. I'm not sure if he heard the audible gasp, but I choose to ignore it, and head up the steps to the front door. Kate and Elliot are sitting at our dining table. The $14,000 books have disappeared, thank heavens. I have plans for them. She has the most un-Kate-like ridiculous grin on her face, and she looks mussed up in a sex kind of way. Christian follows me into the living room, and in spite of her, I've been having a good time all night, grinned Kate, eyes him suspiciously. Hi, Hannah. She leaps up to hug me, then holds me in arm's length. So, she can examine me. She frowns and turns to Christian. Good morning, Christian, she says, and her tone is a little hostile. Miss Kavanagh, he says in his stiff formal way. Christian, her name is Kate. Elliot grumbles. Kate, Christian, give her a polite nod and glares at Elliot, who grins and rises to hug me too. Hi, Hannah, he smiles, his blue eyes twinkling, and I like him immediately. He's obviously nothing like Christian, but then they're adopted brothers. Hi, Elliot, I smile at him, and I'm aware that I'm biting my lip. Elliot, we'd better go, Christian says mildly. Sure. He turns to Kate and pulls her into his arms and gives her a long, lingering kiss. Geez, get a room, I stare at my feet. Embarrassed, I glance up at Christian, and he's watching me intently. I narrow my eyes at him. Why can't you kiss me like that? Elliot continues to kiss Kate, sweeping her off her feet and dipping her in a dramatic hold, so that her hair touches the ground as he kisses her hard. Laters, baby, he grins. Kate just melts. I've never seen her melt before. The words comely and compliant come to mind. Compliment Kate. Boy, Elliot must be good. Christian rolls his eyes and stares down at me, his expression unreadable, although maybe he's mildly amused. He tucks a stray strand of my hair that has worked its way free from a ponytail behind my ear. My breath itches at the contact, and I lean my head into his fingers. His eyes soften as he runs his thumb across my lower lip. My blood sears in my veins, and all too quickly his touch is gone. Laters, baby, he murmurs, and I have to laugh, because it's so unlike him. But even though I know he's been irrelevant, the endearment tugs at something deep inside me. I'll pick you up at 8. He turns to leave, opening the front door and stepping out onto the porch. Elliot follows him to the car, but turns and blows a kiss at Kate, and I feel an unwelcome pang of jealousy. So did you? Kate asks as we watch, then climb into the car and drive off, the burning curiosity evident in her voice. No, I snap, irritably, hoping that will halt the question. We head back into the apartment. You obviously did, though. I can't contain my envy. Kate always manages to ensnare men. She is irresistible, beautiful, sexy, funny, forward, all the things that I'm not. But her answering grin is infectious, and I'm seeing him again this evening. She claps her hands and jumps up and down like a small child. She cannot contain her excitement and happiness, and I can't help but feel happy for her. A happy Kate, this is going to be interesting. Christian is taking me to Seattle this evening. Seattle, yes. Maybe you will then. Oh, I hope so. You like him then? Yes. Like him enough to? Yes. She raises her eyebrows. Wow, Anna Steele. Finally falling for a man, and it's Christian Grey. Hot, sexy billionaire. Oh yeah, it's all about the money, I smirk, and we both fall into a fit of giggles. Is that a new blouse, she asks, and I let her have all the unexciting details about my night. Has he kissed you yet? She asks as she makes coffee. I blush. Once, she scoffs. I nod, rather shamefaced. He's very reserved. She frowns. That's odd. I don't think odd covers it really. We need to make sure you're simply irresistible for this evening, she says with determination. Oh no, this sounds like it will be time-consuming, humiliating and painful. I have to be at work in an hour. I can work with that time frame. Come on, Kate. Kate grabs me my hand and takes me into her bedroom. The day drags at Clayton's even though we're busy. We've hit the summer season, so I have to spend 2 hours restocking the shelves. Once the shop is closed, it's mindless work, and it gives me too much time to think. I've not really had a chance all day. Under Kate's tireless and frankly intrusive instruction, my legs and underarms are shaven to perfection. My eyebrows plucked and I am buffed all over. It has been the most unpleasant experience, but she assures me that this is what men expect these days. What else will he expect? I have to convince Kate that this is what I want to do. For some strange reason, she doesn't trust him. Maybe because he's so stiff and formal. She says she can't put her finger on it, but I have promised to text her when I arrive in Seattle. I haven't told her about the helicopter. She'd freak out. I also have the Jose issue. He's left 3 messages and 7 missed calls on my cell. He's also called home twice. Kate has been very vague as to where I am. He'll know she's covering for me. Kate doesn't do vague, but I have decided to let him stew. I'm still so angry with him. Christian mentioned some kind of written paperwork, and I don't know if he was joking, or if I'm going to have to sign something. It's frustrating trying to guess, and on top of all the angst, I can barely contain my excitement or my nerves. Tonight's the night. After all this time, am I ready for this? My inner goddess glares at me, tapping her small foot impatiently. She's been ready for this for years, and she's ready for anything, with Christian Grey. But I still don't understand what he sees in me. Mousy Anna Steele, it makes no sense. He's punctual, of course, and waiting for me when I leave Clayton's. He climbs out of the back of the Audi to open the door and smiles warmly at me. Good evening, Miss Steele, he says. Mr. Grey, I nod politely at him. As I climb into the back seat of the car, Taylor is sitting in the driver's seat. Hello, Taylor, I say. Good evening, Miss Steele. His voice is polite and professional. Christian climbs in the other side and claps my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze that echoes through my body. How was work, he asks. Very long, I reply, and my voice is husky, too low and full of need. Yes, it's been a long day for me too. What did you do? I manage. I went hiking with Elliot. His thumb strokes my knuckles back and forth, and my heart skips a beat as my breathing accelerates. How does he do this to me? He's only touching a very small area of my body, and the hormones are flying. The drive to the helicopter is short, and before I know it, we arrive. I wonder where the fabled helicopter might be. We're in a built-up area of the city, and even I know helicopters need space to take off and land. Taylor parks, climbs out and opens the door for me. Christian is beside me in an instant and takes my hand again. Ready? He asks. I nod and want to say, for anything, but I can't articulate the words as I'm too nervous or too excited. Taylor, he nods curtly at the driver, and we head into the building, straight into a set of elevators. Elevator. The memory of our kiss this morning comes back to haunt me. I have thought of nothing else all day, daydreaming at the register at Clayton's twice. Mr. Clayton had to shout my name to bring me back to earth. To say I've been distracted would be an understatement of the year. Christian glances at me, a slight smile on his lips. He's thinking about it too. It's only 3 floors, he says dryly, his eyes dancing with amusement. He's telepathic, surely. It's spooky. I try to keep my face impassive as we enter the elevator. The doors close, and it's there, the weird electrical attraction crackling between us, enslaving me. I close my eyes in a vain attempt to ignore it. He tightens his grip on my hand, and 5 seconds later the doors open onto the roof of the building, and there it is, a white helicopter with the name Great Enterprise Holdings written in blue, with the company logo on the side. Surely this is misuse of company property. He leads me into a small office where an old-timer sits behind the desk. Here's your flight plan, Mr. Gray. All external checks are done. It's ready and waiting, sir. You're free to go. Thank you, Joe. Christian smiles warmly at him. Oh, someone deserving of a polite treatment from Christian. Perhaps he's not an employee. I stare at the old guy in awe. Let's go, Christian says, and we make our way toward the helicopter. When we're up close, it's much bigger than I thought. I expected it to be a roadster version for 2, but it has at least 7 seats. Christian opens the door and directs me to one of the seats at the very front.